Mark time. Mark. Ready? Stop. Present. Colors.
This time, will please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard. You ready to push the colors? Move.
Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Move.
At this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Chris Shackelford from New Song Vineyard Church, our police chaplain, to provide tonight's invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Chris Sheneman, I'm sorry.
I knew who I was. Shall we pray? Gracious God, we come before you once again this evening, first of all, grateful to be found in a free land. Grateful, Lord, for those men and women who put themselves forward as your servants to keep our land free and to maintain peace and order. And especially tonight, Lord, we ask that you would have your hand of blessing on these officers as new careers begin, new positions are assumed, that you would guard their hearts and their minds with integrity and honor, that they would serve well and faithfully, and at the end of the day, you would bring them home safely to their families. Now, Lord, we also thank you for these public servants who govern the affairs of our community. We ask that you give them wisdom and courage and kindness as they manage our affairs. We ask for your presence in these proceedings, and we ask in your name and for your sake. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Abrams. Menninger.
Here.
Grubbs. Lewis.
Here.
Dole.
Here.
Maines.
Here.
Galindo.
Here.
First item on this evening's agenda is approval of the council meeting minutes for January 2nd, 2018.
So moved. Second.
Are any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I'll ask for the roll to be called.
Menninger.
Abstain.
Lewis.
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
Next item on this evening's agenda is approval of the purchase orders.
So moved. Second.
Please take the roll.
Okay. Lewis.
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
Menninger.
Yay.
That brings us down to our guests and visitors. We have a visitor this evening from the Greater Harrison Chamber of Commerce, and Shannon Hammonds will introduce them.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my pleasure, as always, to invite Jim Kennett to come up and tell us a little bit about what's going on at the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Shannon, and council, and members of the community. Just want to give you some updates as to what we're doing. We're finishing up our strategic plan for fiscal year 2018, and we met this morning to continue that process and discuss some of the key points we're trying to get involved with, and we'll be announcing that at our annual breakfast in about a month from now. And the other things that we're going to be doing, I just want to let you know, we have on January 25th, which is next week, our next business series, Business and Breakfast, and that's going to be talking about financial wellness. It's still open, and we're still looking for people to come to that. It's sponsored by Vivum Private Client Group, which is an investment group, talking about financial wellness as you either look forward to retirement or make plans for years out ahead. So that's an important one, and we're starting to fill that up. As you know, on February 22nd is our annual breakfast, State of the Community breakfast, of which a few of the members of this body are going to be speaking at. Hank is going to be speaking, as well as the mayor. We're also going to have John Hamstra, Superintendent of Southwest Local Schools, speaking as well on the state of the area from that perspective. And then in March, we're going to be having a seminar or a breakfast again series. Get found on Google. We'll have a Google representative in the area. It was highly attended at our last one we had back, I think in May or June of this past year, and it's highly attended. Very good information, especially if you're trying to enhance your website and drive more business to your companies. So that's what's going on over the next 3 months. You're going to be seeing a lot more of us out there. We've just added 4 new members to the board. We had a transition. And so we've got 4 fresh members of the business community on that. 2 younger ones, which needed to happen. We have enough gray hairs on that board at this point in time. We need some youth in there giving us some different perspectives. And so I think you'll see some neat things happening with the chamber this year. As we talked about this morning, 4 years ago, we started with a crawl. We then went to a walk. I think we're ready to start trotting. We're not ready to run quite yet, but we're getting ready to go that direction. So that's what's going on, we'll be back before you the first of the month, and we'll be announcing our business of the month at that meeting.
Great.
Excellent.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Kennett, I can only say you're beyond a trot. I had a chance to attend your annual meeting a couple of months ago down off Silly Road there, and when I look at the first one you did and how we packed a lot of people into a fairly small space, you certainly outgrew that. And I don't know what the final number was attending that event, but it had to be in excess of 100.
It was.
It was impressive. So, well done.
Pleased with it as well, highly attended, and I think, if I might say so myself, well done. And we addressed a lot of people, none of you were there at that, and we encourage that intermingling and that interworking relationship that we have with Shannon and the city of Harrison at this point in time. So, again, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I have some new employees and some promoted employees that I need to swear into their new positions. First, I'd like to invite Nicholas Frick forward. So Nicholas is going to be starting with the police department. He's a new employee, went through the civil service process and was very impressive during his interview, and he is a successful candidate, and now we are going to hire him, swear him into the position of policeman for the city. Please raise your right hand. I, Nicholas Frick,
I, Nicholas Frick,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and that I will
and that I will
enforce the laws and ordinances
enforce the laws and ordinances
of the city of Harrison,
of the city of Harrison,
the state of Ohio,
the state of Ohio,
and the United States of America,
and the United States of America,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the charter
of the charter
and the ordinances of
and the ordinances of
the city of Harrison,
the city of Harrison,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully and completely
faithfully and completely
discharge the duties
discharge the
of
duties
the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Thomas Kinney forward. Thomas also went through the same process as me, and he also was very impressive during his oral interview. and I'm proud to swear him in this evening as a police officer for our city. Raise your right hand. I, Thomas Kinney,
I, Thomas Kenny,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the state of Ohio,
and that I will
and that I will
enforce the laws
enforce the laws
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the city of Harrison,
of the city of Harrison,
the state of Ohio,
the state of Ohio,
and the United States of America,
and the United States of America,
and that I will,
and that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the charter
of the charter
and the ordinances of
and the ordinances of
the city of Harrison,
the city of Harrison,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully and completely
faithfully and completely
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
of which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. This time I'd like to invite Joe Ramsey forward. We went through a process to identify a replacement for the vacancy of the position of sergeant, and Joe was one of the 3 candidates that we interviewed for the position, and he was the high scorer. All the candidates were worthy of the position, and this evening I'm proud to swear him into the promotional position of sergeant with the department. Please raise your right hand. I, Joe Ramsey,
I, Joe Ramsey,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution,
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the state of Ohio,
and that I will
and that I will
enforce the laws
enforce the laws
and ordinances of
and ordinances of
the city of Harrison,
the city of Harrison,
the state of Ohio,
state of Ohio,
and the United States of America,
and the United States of America,
and that I will,
and that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the charter
of the charter
and ordinances of
and ordinances of
the city of Harrison,
the city of Harrison,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully and completely
faithfully and completely
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. And the last candidate this evening I need to swear in is Robert Sider. I'd like to invite him forward. Do you mind if I call you Bobby? That's what I've known him by. So we had an interview for lieutenant to fill a vacancy, and Bobby represented himself very well during the interview, was a successful candidate for promotion, and I'm very proud tonight to swear him into the position of lieutenant. Please raise your right hand. I, Robert Sider,
I, Robert Sider,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the state of Ohio.
the state of Ohio,
Now I'm gonna. And the state of Ohio. And that I will,
and that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the charter
of the charter
and the ordinances of
and the ordinances of
the city of Harrison.
the city of Harrison,
I'm gonna go up here. And that I will
and that I will
enforce the laws
enforce the laws
and provisions
and provisions
of the city of Harrison,
of the city of Harrison,
the state of Ohio,
the state of Ohio,
and the United States of America.
and the United States of America,
And that I will
and that I will
faithfully and completely
faithfully and completely
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
A little rough, but we got there.
Congratulations.
So our 2 new hires and our 2 promotional police officers this evening will all be serving the city well, and I wish them all the best. If you see them on the street or see them in their new position, please congratulate them, and I'm sure that you'll be happy when you meet them and see how well they perform. Congratulations again. So we move on in the agenda. This next item is approval of a resolution for the filing of an application to the Ohio DNR for financial assistance under the Clean Ohio Trails Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any discussion on this item?
We have to match it, 25%.
Mayor, could you enlighten us a little bit?
So we're making application to get some grant money from the Ohio DNR for the nature walk here at the community center for some improvements. Any other questions?
So Mayor, I had a question. There was something in there that I believe it was on the second page or third page that talked a little bit about excuse me, in section 3, it talks about making sure that there's funds required, and then also in section, a little bit further, in section 2 and 3, talking about possible funding. Do we know what that may be? Is there going to be any risk exposure to us?
Shannon, is there a matching portion to this?
I'm going to allow Jim, because this basically replicates something in flight for
He didn't want to do it, I don't think.
He's trying to get the crowd.
Jim, do you want to speak to the application for ODR?
2 years ago, we applied for Ohio Clean Trails, and we did not get we got the application in, but we were not awarded the grant. So this year, we're putting in for the same one, hoping that we'll get approval this time. What that grant entails is tying in this existing trail around the community center to Industrial Drive, to Campbell Road, the shared road, all the way to State Street, down State Street, then eventually come back up either Broadway or Cater and loop it back into the trails around the community center. We didn't get it last time, so probably this chance that we may not. So, but if we don't put it in for it, we have no shot at it. So that's what we're doing. And it's a 25% match for the city, so 75% grant. And the estimate on the project is about $327,000
Overall?
overall.
And is that funding, is that over a extended period of time, or is that through the course of that?
What happened is that funding is for the construction of the project itself. The city has to put in the budget, the full amount. And once we advertise and bid and start the project, then that grant money will be sent to the city in our finance department to be used to pay for the construction.
So we'll be reimbursed.
25% is about 82,000.
Right?
Right.
Now, if I understand correctly, that 82K can be in labor, doesn't have to necessarily be to the contractor, or is that?
The 82,
If we're approved, that money becomes available like July 1st of 2018. I may be wrong, it may be, we'll know sometime by the fall of 2018 if we get it. The funds will become available in 2019, and that's when we'll start the project.
and the 25% matching, can that be in-kind labor, or does it have to be 25% cash match?
Capital.
So,
Okay.
It's three, if
Right.
the project's
So if we-
$370,000, then we gotta pay 25% of that.
and if we do labor, there can be a rate assigned to that. Is that correct? If we do some of the labor in-house, we can bill that out?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Okay, right. I mean, that was my understanding with a lot of this RTP.
Right.
Matching funds, in-kind things that we can provide some sort of in-kind. Okay, which is great, right?
It's nothing new. We received these Ohio Clean Trail funds before. We used them on Caroline Trace, used them on West Road.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's nothing new that we haven't done before.
Any
And
other?
do we typically have any budget set aside? I know we're looking at this for 19, so this will be coming into the financial planning for FY 19. But do we typically have any funds available that carry over for these types of projects?
No.
So there's nothing earmarked, so we have to find the revenue
We
stream for
would
these.
budget it in the 2018 cycle, because we would know we were awarded it during 2018. So for the 2019 budget, during the budgeting cycle, we put it into the budget.
So we did put it in.
We will.
We will.
In the 2019 budget. During 2018.
Shannon, how does this tie into the connectivity concepts and things that we're doing with the master plan?
In looking at what we wanted to do was to get to Campbell and across Campbell to the park and then back around. I think it ties in very, very well.
Okay.
In speaking with the Great Parks, I think they're very interested in seeing this happen as well. This wouldn't be the only place that we'll be tying in with the Great Parks. This is one of the primary avenues because it's close to the hill here. And at this site and getting back, it's probably the most direct shot to get to Campbell and across the park. So ties in very well, I think.
Now, is the application that goes in, is that accompanied by, maps and designs and things like that?
I think that JMA is.
Yeah, with the resolution, we'll send that in, we'll send the letter in, and there'll be an application that the mayor will sign off on. And we'll give that to Jennifer Batter from JMA, and that'll get sent in.
She already had a preliminary drawing from last time she used, she'll be updated.
So are we assigning any type of ROI with the comprehensive plan as far as what we look at for generation of visitors and people that would spend money in there as well? Is there any way to quantify what the revenue stream would be on this investment?
That would be a next step. That's not part of this first plan, but as we take on projects, that would be something that we do for each project that we take on. As a recommendation moving forward.
Shannon, again, in the context of the master plan, is this concept been funneled off to Emily for her to be able to work? Because if this is something, and again, sometimes these things come along as one-off things, but I'm hoping that what we're doing here ties in to the master plan, that it gets incorporated, because even if it doesn't get funded now, if it's worthwhile, it ought to be something we're pursuing.
I said this to her today, actually I sent it to you folks too, because a couple we hadn't received it, I wasn't sure. So she has it as well, and she'll be discussing this in her final.
Okay.
Any other questions?
In the document you sent, you kind of sent out a proposed route for this bike trail. Is that set in stone, or is that something that could be rerouted?
Again, this is Jim working with Jennifer to set those locations. Is that exactly the same as it was before, Jim?
Yes, it is.
Right, but can it change? If, say we're awarded the grant, we decide we want to run the trail instead of down Industrial Drive, we want to run it behind JTM, back in the woods, for instance, and get it away from the traffic.
Yeah, when we file the application, it gets with it a document showing where the trail is going in.
And it has to follow that plan.
Adhere to that unless we want to put a change order in.
So you can't, there isn't an opportunity to change something. Okay, all right, fair enough.
Please take the roll.
Dole,
Yay.
Maines,
Yay.
Galindo.
Yay.
Menninger,
Yay.
Lewis.
Yay.
Okay, that is resolution number 1 of 18.
That brings us down to the reports. For the mayor's report, I'd like to congratulate our new hired police officers, the newly promoted police officers, wish them all well in their role. And I again want to stress that when you interact with our police department, any of our employees, I hope that you take away a positive feeling and, greet them and let them greet you. Interacting with the employees isn't something that I want to see, whether it's a policeman, a firefighter, streets, utilities, whatever. I want it to be a positive encounter for everybody. And I'm sure that after interviewing these two gentlemen that are joining our police department, we'll see that with these two gentlemen also. That concludes my report. Law Director, do you have a report this evening?
Mr. Council, I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Menninger?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I want to congratulate Officers Frick and Kenny on joining our force. And again, Joe Ramsey and Robert Sider for their promotions tonight. You know, it doesn't seem like Lieutenant Sider's been here all that long. You talk about a guy moving up the chain quickly. Very, very solid guy, and we're lucky to have him. So appreciate that. The Fire Committee met this evening. Chief presented his monthly report. We've got our revenues are pretty much on pace with what was estimated, running a little bit ahead for year 2017. Our fire and rescue runs are down slightly from last year. Our EMS runs are up a bit from last year, not significantly, more so. We got the annual report from the fire chief. That's available for anybody that wants to see it. The chief informed us that the department is going to be seeking an AFG grant through FEMA that will allow the department, if the grant is awarded, to purchase some mobile data computers for use by our department. Contracts for service invoices have been sent out. Long-term financial planning is underway. We've got some challenges ahead, both not too distant future and the distant future, and that will be continuing, and we'll review that to make sure that we keep our department adequately staffed and that we do it in a fiscally responsible way. We've got a mitigation plan meeting scheduled for January 27th. It's a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. That'll be at Station 56, and we don't expect to be there more than a couple of hours, but we want to go over some ways in which we can potentially mitigate losses in the event of a disaster. Chief informed us also that there is a meeting dealing with on-street parking this Wednesday, January 17th, involving the Hickory Flats Homeowners Association, and I'm sure we'll get a report on that in a couple of weeks. From the master plan, I've been provided some information regarding the calendar for this year, and it looks like right now we're targeting a final council vote on the master plan for May 1st. We'll see how that plays out. Again, we're going to let the product dictate the timing rather than the timing dictate the product. So if this takes a little longer than we think it will, so be it, but we're trying to get this right. But the tentative calendar shows May 1st is the night for the final council vote. The steering committee's hopefully going to receive the revised draft of the plan for review on January 31st. So that's coming up here in a couple of weeks. We've got a final steering committee meeting scheduled for February the 15th at 6:30 p.m. right here. February 28th, the plan shows that we'll be receiving the second draft of the final plan. March 8th, we anticipate it will be published for public review. There'll be an open forum on March the 15th. April 5th, we hope they have the final draft sent to the Planning Commission for their review and approval. April 10th is the anticipated meeting of the Planning Commission and a public hearing. Third draft with the Planning Commission and recommendations to Council will be out April the 12th. April 17th, City Council public hearing at 7 p.m. It's an aggressive schedule, but if you don't, I guess, schedule things and put your feet to the fire, you don't meet deadlines. So the only thing we can do here is strive to meet our deadlines. But as a party chairing this endeavor, I will say to you that things are moving well. I've been very, very impressed, with the people that are working with us on this. We've had some great involvement by not only members of our council, members of the community. A couple of them are here tonight, and we very much appreciate all the input, and there's still going to be opportunity for additional input. There's going to be a bit of a presentation on the master plan at the State of the Community breakfast on February 22nd. I've been invited to address the chamber on that. I had to get out of a hearing that morning, so I had to do a little bit of a dance to be able to move a docket of about 20 cases from the 22nd to the 21st. So I hope the 5 minutes that you'll hear from me will be worth that. In any event, that's all I have to report tonight, and Mayor, it's all yours.
Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, McBride Dale Clarion, our consultant, has done an excellent job of guiding us through the process, the community, to go through the proper steps to get a plan that will represent what the community wants and needs. So, yeah, they've done an excellent job, and all those that have participated to date, I thank you for your input. Mr. Lewis, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mayor. Thank you. Police Committee met this evening, and a few of the things that we went over, the Harrison Police Department 2,000 CPT hours have all been met. We met the standard, and the entire department is in compliance. Chief also gave us the 2017 statistical review, and the outcome of that review is our city is safe. That's one thing we need to keep in mind. Probably our biggest hurdle going forward is the continued issues with heroin addiction and what that does in so many different parts of our community, and dealing with that as a police department, as a city, and just as human beings with other human beings. It's a terrible, terrible thing, and we're doing everything we can to lower the addiction, help the victims or the users, and try to get a handle on this thing. But that's one of the things we need to look at going forward this year. Chief also talked about his need for an auxiliary police officer position, so we discussed that at length, and I would like to ask the clerk to add an agenda item for our next council meeting for an ordinance that Mr. Dieters will be passing on to you. He was given a marked up copy tonight, and hopefully within the next week or so, his office will be returning an ordinance back to you for addition in that meeting. So I would appreciate that. Also like to congratulate the newly sworn in officers, Officer Frick and Keen, and absolutely Robert Sider and Joe Ramsey for their promotions, two fine officers. We can't do better than these guys. That's all I have on Police Committee. Well, the next Police Committee meeting will be February the 20th at 6 p.m. But I'd also like to ask for an executive session for this evening to discuss the purchase or sale of property.
We have a second for the executive session.
Second.
Will you please take the roll?
Galindo.
Yay.
Menninger.
Yay.
Lewis.
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
That's all I have this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Dole, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. The last Planning Commission meeting was held on January 9th. The only thing on the agenda was approval of a projecting sign from a business at 213 Park Avenue in the DRD, and that was unanimously approved. On the Streets Committee, pre-construction meeting was held with John R. Jurgensen after the first of the year. Start of that project will be, hopefully, weather permitting, April 2nd. They'll start on the Flintstone reconstruction. The next meeting of the Streets, Utilities, and Stormwater Committees will be February 6th at 6 p.m. until finished. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Mr. Maines, do you have any reports this evening?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. The Environmental Solid Waste Committee will be offering a community-wide cleanup, or not, citywide cleanup on January the 27th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's your yard waste. Bring that, and city will take care of that, grind it up, and dispose of it for you. I've personally taken advantage of that. It's a great service that the city offers, and encourage our citizens to do that. I would like to thank, certainly congratulate Officers Frick and Kinney on their new positions, and I wish them a long and fruitful career with the Harrison Police Department, certainly want to congratulate Sergeant Ramsey and Sergeant Sider. Everybody calls him Bobby. I guess I'll start doing that now. I'm a little hesitant to do that.
Lieutenant now.
LT.
Oh, is it? He's lieutenants or lieutenants? Yes, sir. Okay, and I want to congratulate them on their promotions this evening. Just want to report too that on Friday morning I'll be attending a Tri-State Trails quarterly meeting, and that's some opportunity to get some more RTP funding like we were talking about tonight. So I'm excited to find out what we can do there as well. I also wanted to thank Jim Kinnett for coming out tonight, all they're doing with the chamber. I've got my calendar marked. I plan on attending several of those events, those that I can. Definitely going to come out and hear what Hank has to say. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Glinda, do you have a report this evening?
I do, Mr. Mayor. The Civil Defense met this evening. Some of the topics to discuss were, as Mr. Manager had mentioned already, the 27 January meeting for some of the emergency mitigation planning. Also, some of the areas or topics that we discussed was some risk mitigation to infrastructures due to F4 winds and what have you. One thing that also came out, being new to the committee, is putting some time on the calendar with Chief Herzog as well to review some of the SOPs so that we can make sure that we are looking at ways to make sure that we are mitigating as much risk as we can as a community. That's all I have for an official report, but I think whenever you have a lot of promotions and new hires, it's a time of celebration. You've seen the room clear out pretty quickly, so congratulations to the LT and to Sergeant Ramsey, and then to the new hires, Officer Frick and Kinney. Well done. Just excited to be part of the process and to get to know the LT a little bit, as he got a chance to sit down and talk to him for about 20 minutes this week. Great individual. Took my picture. I hate taking pictures for my badge, so that was kind of the purpose for that. But just congratulating them and thanking everyone that came out.
At this time, is there any other business prior to retiring to executive session?
Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Real quick, I just wanted to thank our street crew for the hard work that they gave on Friday night. The storm wasn't as bad as they thought, but they were still out till 11 o'clock. I was out riding with one of them, so that was fun. And it's fun in January, probably not going to be fun in March. And then, of course, they were out working hard yesterday as well. And I was out walking the dogs when they were parking the trucks and finally putting the equipment away after a long day yesterday. So a big shout out to our street crew, their hard work that they put in during these wonderful winter months in Harrison, Ohio. That's all I have.
Mike, it's good that you recognize that. For Jim, you'll enjoy the fact that I just got back from a trip south, and we had some snow in places they never had snow before. And I'm watching people, city employees down there, trying to clean snow and ice off with garden shovels, spades. They're putting water softener salt down because they're totally and completely unequipped to deal with anything like that. So you guys do a great job, and as a city, we're very glad to give you all the equipment you need and salt.
Be careful, they want newer trucks.
He says, remember that.
Your department sets a pretty high bar, and those of us that have been up here more than a couple months are spoiled because it's not that we don't appreciate it, but it's like that's how it always is.
Yeah.
So that's something to say for your department. I mean, they do a great job every time.
You realize it when you drive outside the city.
Yeah, as soon as you get outside the city limits, it begins to change, and as soon as you get over towards the other part of the county, it really changes.
Oh, I drove
Or Indiana.
into Green Township and then out towards Blue Ash on Friday. And the farther east I went, the worse it got. And boy, I was glad to get back home.
Mr. Mayor, one more thing to piggyback. Speaking of ice, if you've seen Facebook today, you've seen some of the work that the fire department did with a rescue of a dog that fell through the ice. If it's important to our residents, it's important to us as a community. And Chief, for what you and your team did to help rescue a dog, hats off to you. I mean, seen some pictures out there with ladders laying in the ice with the cold suits on, going in, making sure. Plus, it also provides an opportunity for some good training, right? You practice how you play, but I'm sure the individuals that were affected today are very grateful to you and your folks. So hats off to you guys and to the police as well, Chief Lindsay. Thank you. But that's just our first responders in action, regardless of the situation.
At this time, we'll retire to executive session. Thank you.